Hello, I'm here with Jem Rowlston.
Hi.
Who's here at the Fringe. We're in a beer garden.
Yes.
It's very exciting. We're right next to a vent, so it might be a little bit noisy. But Jem has a wonderful show at, was it 1:30?
1:45
at CC Blues.
Yes.
And you are Boo.
I am Boo, yes. This
you are
is
Boo. It
Boo.
is you.
Yes. And my show is called Boo's Box. It's at 1:45 at CC Blues. And it is a cabaret. And I have invited some of the best acts from around the Fringe to come inside my box for 7 minutes and live their fantasy.
Which sounds very, very intimate indeed.
No, it's not those kinds of fantasies. It is a lunchtime show and it's free. I don't have the licenses.
Yes. And it's a family-friendly show, but is it not a family-friendly show? It's a family venue. The family-friendly venue, but not necessarily a family-friendly show. But I'm sure if they stumbled in, you'd have to make it so.
Well, yes, some have. That's been fun. Lots of parents seeing my flyer and going, "Oh, kids drag," and I'm like, "Oh, I should have done that."
See, that is awkward though, because of the time of day it is, and because it is a family-friendly venue. Then you can't turn them away, but you sort of probably want to, I would think.
I just give full disclaimer, right?
Yeah.
I explain to parents, I'm like, there is nothing inherently not okay in the show.
Of course not.
But it's blue. Like, listen to the description of the show. So if the parent is okay with it and investing in their kid having a big character and a need for therapy later in their life, then go for it.
But I mean, there's nothing inherently sexual about drag anyway.
No. I mean, drag inherently is just playing with gender.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things that I get asked a lot and sort of get a lot of kind of confused faces on is that I am assigned female at birth. I am a female, I'm a woman, and I've got absolutely no problems with that gender identity. But here I am doing queen drag. I am a female. And all drag is playing with gender. And I, in my everyday life, am a massive tomboy. So dressing up as a man is just a Thursday. Whereas here with Boo, I get to be hyper feminine and pink. And I've never liked pink before. But now everything, including my trousers, are pink and chaotic.
Woo! Yeah, pink and chaotic. No, and I was flying with you, and the responses you were getting were interesting. Really. It was fascinating and a little bit shocking and appalling, but also amusing.
Yeah, I think I've gotten a whole spectrum of responses from people being like, "Oh wow, you're so beautiful," which makes me really question their standards and expectations. To like kids being like, "Wow, it's this magical look they get in their eye."
Yeah.
To people walking past and kind of being like, "Oh, what have you done with your face?" Which is a little shocking to kind of get behind.
Yeah.
But it's showing me the full breadth of humanity, and people's faces are very loud. I'm not the loudest face on the street.
No. People, I don't know whether people know how much shows up on their face. Because I know we went to flyer in one place, and there was this woman. I'm saying she's a woman. I'm pretty sure she was a woman. I think she probably would have said that she was a woman, because she was very much like...
Yes. I have people run in fear, and more so than usual flyers. Like when you're flyering, people tend to run away from you. But in drag, it's they do it like more loud. They do it louder. But at the same time, this is also a really nice way to kind of filter people through before they get to you. Because I have like a 95% hit rate of people taking my flyers, because I'll clock eyes with you and people will either be like, "Absolutely not," or they'll be like, "Hey," and you're getting a flyer. Hack. There you go.
It was pretty good. I mean, there was a big hen party. It was just like a spooky hen party, a bit odd, but was absolutely obsessed with you.
Oh yeah, there have been people trying to touch my face, and I'm very glad they haven't, because I don't think any of my insurances or savings will cover the jail fee. Or me breaking someone's hand going, "Don't touch it." It takes 2 hours to do.
You messed it up.
No, it won't move.
It won't move. It's a lot on there. So with the process, I mean, I can see you glue down your eyebrows.
Yes.
You use lots of glue, like Pritt stick or something.
Yeah, I went into an art store, like Hobbycraft, and I was looking at the glue sticks, and I picked up a Pritt stick, and I was like, okay. And I went to the sales assistant, and I was like, can a kid eat this? Because my thought is that if someone can eat it, it can go on my face.
Yeah.
I mean, they did assume that I had like children who were going through that phase, and I want to know what that phase is.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I was like, no, I'm just gonna put it on my face.
And they're like, what? Why?
Yeah. So I just use Pritt stick,
Yeah.
and it's like gluing it down, prepping the skins with every different kind of primer so that it's sticky and tacky, so it holds it. Then it's like 3 or 4 different layers of foundations and bases and contouring, and then you've got like this, and then it's set down with extra spray. I'm about to post on my Instagram channel like a time-lapse video of me doing it this morning. So it's an apt question.
That is an apt question. I tried doing drag on my face, but I've got no idea what to do, and I can't even do normal makeup. I said normal makeup, usual regular makeup. Normal's a bit of a loaded term. I can't do makeup. Generally.
I was the same.
Yeah.
Like I've filmed every time I've done drag since I started about a year ago, because I wanted to see the progression. But I also thought, well, if I get into this, I can post it as videos for show people, because I never see content. Like, you don't see Trixie, you don't see any of these big drag queens showing that process. Sometimes they do. I mean, Trixie has got a couple of like, this was me,
not for a couple of years, I think.
Yeah,
back a bit.
But it's one of those things that I think a lot of people want to play with drag, but all you see are these like perfect faces and these already crafted ideas. And I've been talking to a lot of people and a lot of people who want to do drag and can do and do drag, and they look at my face and they're like, you so know it. And it's purely because I've played, and purely because I literally went from going, I remember having the conversations of like, what foundation, what and how, and for a process of like talking to people and also just playing and getting it terribly wrong. I've come to this.
Yes. So that's the thing, the process, getting it wrong. Also, how do you get your eyelashes on? Because I've struggled with those. I got the glue. Actually, to be honest, it was a bit dry there. That wouldn't even help. Yeah. But like, it's just, I've got the wrong shaped eyes or something. I'm just like, where do you put them? How do you put them? They're all over the place.
There are 2 things, right? I would get it out, but so you get these like, they're like tweezers, but they've kind of got a like a
eyes. It's like,
you just hold it, and then the second, the technique, right? I've got a technique where, and I don't know if this is everything, like makeup, the one thing I've learned is that everybody does it differently, and there's no right way and there's no wrong way, so just do it. You want to start on the outside and then almost like layer it down, like you're kind of doing a vinyl. Because that means that you're not trying to like get it all on in the right place at once. You're just going a little bit one by one. Also, if you can see, I'm not putting mine on my lash line.
I realise that now. I'm
putting it.
I was trying to get it as close as possible, and it wasn't working.
Which you can. I mean, this is a decision because I wanted that white to continue to brighten the eye. So it is a decision to lay it basically on top of my eyelid.
And they're very much bigger than the ones I had. But the ones I had were still felt like they were massive, but nowhere near as much as they.
Yeah, I mean, this I can still feel it, and when I take them off, suddenly I go from like widescreen to like, oh wow, there's a whole world above me. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So how has the show been going?
The show has been going really well. The audiences have been small, I'm going to be honest. There's a lot less people in Edinburgh this year. And it is a difficult time slot for drag. But the audiences who have come have adored it. And every day I am trying not to cry my contact lenses out because they're saying one of the things when you're creating a show is you sort of have an intention, you have a fantasy of what you wish someone would say of the show and wish they would take away from it. And you kind of know that you might be heading that way. You don't know until you're actually doing it. And I've been consistently getting the comments that I hoped for, and that people are saying that the show is landing in the way that I want it to land, and the reactions are fantastic, and it's just, it still has that magic.
Yeah.
And it's lovely because a drag show with only 3 or 4 people in it seems like the most terrifying thing in the world, not just for you as an audience, but also as a performer. I step out and go, oh, can I still be loud? But it's still landing despite that. So that's a really powerful thing to know.
Yeah.
And so I think despite small audiences, everybody is tipped really, really well, which is really nice. But people have had the response that I really hoped for. And now I'm just having fun and just going wild and seeing how far the show can be pulled and pushed.
It's cool, and also, do people clock that you're an AFAB drag queen, or are they a bit like?
It completely depends on their exposure to drag, I think. Like, I think everybody's clocking me as female. I think people who are not clocking female are maybe assuming trans, which is perfectly all right. But I think people are either getting drag and like love it, or they are getting the freak, which is both entirely accurate, frankly.
Chris, it's an interesting thing. I mean, there have been more. I mean, like, you've got Victoria Scone, who's famous and has gotten beyond what, and like RuPaul very famously said some awful, terrible things about women and trans people, and has had to pull back on that a lot. So I mean, there's been no drag kings as yet.
I mean, there are some amazing drag kings, and I know that, you know, I try and pull from their art as well. Like Adam Wall is fantastic, and By Curious George, who is here at the Fringe, whose show is amazing and is having the absolute fantasy Fringe. I'm so happy for them. Like, what the Kings are doing in the space is absolute art, and it's brilliant. And it's one thing that's quite difficult with drag is that because it's become so popular, people are having a sort of expectation of like, you're there as a fishy queen and you're just there to it's either bad drag or it's fishy drag. And there is a movement within drag at the moment where we're trying to reopen that space for the art. And like, that's where I'm really curious about playing and really bringing in, like, on a real art, I don't know if I'm allowed to say on a really art, but the arty way. I'm exploring Buffon, and I'm exploring like, how do we bring in some more of these sort of art principles behind drag and really play with it in that kind of way, but also find fun in this.
I think it has opened it up, because it's not, I mean, I'm not sure it ever was one thing, but it's been more visibly a lot of different things, because it's like, well, this is amazing. So many different people I know that are doing, well, I mean, drag queen, drag king, and it's not just like for one type of person. It's like, is that something, because people aren't one person, and you can go through. I talked to Kate Smurthwaite, who's got the Milo Standards that's brought up there. It's his second year that's been up here. And then a friend of mine from way back has got a character called, that's terrible, isn't it? My friend is called, I don't know, I've forgotten. That's a really good drag king name, really, isn't it?
I mean, everybody's going to remember it, because nobody's going to remember it.
Patriarchy. So,
oh, what a name.
Yeah,
I mean, there's also, there is drag that's like monster drag, and there is drag that is freak or thing drag. Drag is really, it's this playing with identity, and it's playing with presentation, and it really is an art form. And but it's also, to take it away from all of that sort of racist stuff, it's just super fun, and it's silly, and I think that's what I like as a sort of artist, is I've been a theatre maker, I've just been theatre. And now I get to be super silly and play and just go, okay, what else can I put in my boobs today?
What is inside that can be outside? Now, I've also got another friend called Danny Worthington, who did the drag course at the Vauxhall Tavern, and has been trying to persuade me to do it ever since. It's like, okay, whatever. But theirs is he's Henry VIII as a, so it's like Henry VIII doing poems as a drag, so it's Henrietta VIII. So it's an interesting, it's like, because it's a historical character as well, there's levels to it.
I think any and everybody should try drag once, because I had I knew about drag and liked drag. I tried King before, but I was kind of like, oh, cool, this is just sort of fun.
Yeah.
Until it was literally one day, a friend turned around and went, "You're having a miserable time.
Yeah.
Come over, I'm going to lay out a spread and I'm going to put you in drag." And I was like, oh, whatever. And they didn't let me see what they were doing to my face. They literally covered all of the mirrors. And two things sort of happened. Was like, there was two friends. They were both like painting my face and like kind of looking at me almost like an art piece, which was really quite an interesting experience. And then when they were done and I had a mirror put in front of me to see how your face can transform and just be playful and then go outside and just take pictures and be able to be something that you're not and live your own fantasy and kind of it's kind of like being really, really, really drunk with no inhibitions, but without being really, really drunk. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So you're having a good experience, and also I've seen you about, and you're pretty much in drag like half of the day, at least half of the day, maybe all of the day. Yeah.
I am in drag. I sit down to do it at 9 a.m. if not before, probably 7:30 in the morning. And then I take it off at about somewhere between 11:30 at night and midnight.
Oh, so it is all the day.
It's all of the day. I dread to think what my skin's doing underneath this, but I'm not getting a lot of time to check it.
Well, you've got a couple more weeks to find out and see what happens. An experiment. This is the experiment that is.
Yes.
Boo, Jem, boo,
Yes.
Jem. And also, you keep saying, am I Jem or am I boo? I think you're a little bit torn at the moment.
I am. It's really weird. This is the first time I've kind of like gone out as Boo properly and done shows and sort of really formed this identity publicly. And everyone's like, "Oh, what can I call you? What's your name?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm Jem, but this is Boo." And it's actually been quite interesting to talk to other artists and to other people and try and figure that out. And so, hello, I'm Boo.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Jem.
Yeah. But also, I mean, have you done mask work as a theatre person?
Not since I was a teenager.
Wow.
And that's one thing that I love about the Fringe is that I have kind of come with this new art form to me, and I'm talking to people who, like clowns and buffoons and mime artists and burlesque artists that I've known for years, and they are saying, "Well, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that?" And it's this whole new kind of creative awakening, which is wonderful because drag can be anything.
Yes.
And everything.
And everything. That is it, though. I think a lot of people are quite restrictive about if you're this one thing, then you cannot be anything else. And I think that is just generally across the board a terribly restrictive way to live your life. I mean, a lot of people, they're like, this is what you have to do. You have to get a job, and then you have to stick on that job and keep going till you die, and you can't do anything else. It's like, this is... No! Everything! Do everything all at once is my thought about it.
You've really hit on the point of my show. Like, I'm really... the idea is everybody's coming into my box to live their fantasy. Whatever that fantasy might be. Not those ones. At least you can do that outside of the show, not inside of the show.
Start to explore, but don't finish it.
Think about it. Don't just leave the act.
Would you want to do this in front of somebody else?
Some people do. But this idea that you can, all of us, I think, have these moments where either it's a big thing like publishing a book, or it's a small thing like wearing a certain dress or a head thing, or kind of like, wearing a certain kind of shoe, and I'm very dress-based right now. But
or wearing a hat, or wearing some gloves, or wearing a lovely little thing.
But it can be something small, like trying something small or doing something big with your life. And all of us have these ideas, and I think a lot of us don't do them and don't have a good reason to do them.
No.
And so I very much want to kind of encourage people to step out of that and like go, okay, well, do your fantasy, live your dream. And there's nothing that says you have to do this forever. Like, there have been moments at 8 in the morning when I'm like, I have to do this to my face again, and I can feel it. I can feel every moment of it. And there's a moment every day where I'm like, I don't want to do this ever again. And then I'm in it and I'm loving it and I absolutely adore it. And so you can just stop, but you can also keep going, and you'll never know unless you do it and you try.
Well, I think this is quite an interesting concept because they come into your box and they find themselves, and then they are out of the box, and then they are forever out of the box, forever changed from that experience, from exploring.
Are they out of the box?
Are they ever out
Or
of the box?
do you simply have your own box?
What?
What are you going to do with your box?
What? Are you going to get a box? But now you're out of the box. You don't need. Do you need somebody else's box? You've explored in
Well,
yourself.
you need a little playpen.
You need another box.
And everybody's
Well, I
lives.
suppose if you've got a box of your own, and then you can take yourself out of the box and put yourself back in.
There are a lot of
Put yourself
boxes
back.
happening.
Do you need to stay in the box? I mean, you've explored your box, but do you need to go out of the other box? No, let's not go there.
Don't break my show
No,
already.
it's too
There's already
crazy.
been like some wonderful artists.
analysis.
There's been some amazing artists come in and like
Yes.
see some of my show, see all of my show.
Yeah.
Like Rich Watkins was
Yeah.
one of them who was happily ever puffed as a show at Una
Yeah.
Mas, and he's amazing.
Yeah.
And he saw my show and went, what about this element that for me was just this silly throwaway
Yeah.
joke and was just a little bit of a reason to have a costume change
Maybe
or
you
something.
need to get out of your own
And
box.
yeah, and
Boo
he just
boo. Not boo boo. Hey, boo boo, you're smarter than you ever been.
Okay,
Boo.
there's a
Just
little
boo.
step.
One boo.
one boo. I'm
Not two.
everybody's boo. I
Yeah.
do me boo,
Yeah,
as you do you boo.
exactly. There's no yogis involved.
No. If there was, my show would be more peaceful than it is chaotic, and it's chaotic.
All right, well, thank you. I know that you've got a very busy schedule, dragged up and everywhere. You've got all everywhere to go.
Yes.
So thanks very much for talking to me, and good luck with the rest of the run.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
thank you.
Thank you, everybody.